Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today in DC Dark Legion, we're going to talk about summoning. That's right, we're going to talk about the bleed. There have been a lot of questions about how the bleed works. When are you going to get your guaranteed mythic? What is the strategy behind it? Who is next? There is quite a bit to it, and yes, there is a little bit of strategy. So we're going to go ahead and discuss all of that right now. So let's get into it. All right, and welcome back. Let's talk about a few things here. First, let's talk about the different type of mythic characters there are in the game. I'll go here. You have mythic and mythic plus characters in this game. They both look the same. They both have these red backgrounds. Your mythic plus characters, the difference is those characters require 40 shards to unlock. So that's like Superman, Joker, Sinestro. When you talk about regular mythic heroes, so Cyborg, Raven, Bane, those characters require 10 shards to unlock. So when we talk about the bleed is where you go to summon your mythic plus heroes. Let's talk about what you need to summon. You need world anvil fragments. Let's talk about a few places you can get those. You can get them in the store right here, the mystery store. You got a few different flavors of anvil packs that come out. So these world anvil fragments, you can get one in the store, one for 60 gems. That's what I suggest. Make sure to get anvils. This is for free to play. Make sure to purchase anvils out of the store that average 60 gems for each summon. One anvil is one summon. So get the 60 for one. There's also one in here for 180 gems for three. So that averages the 60. The other two packs that you'll see in here is for 323 gems for three. And then 580 or something like that gems for five. If you're pay to play, go for it. If you're free to play, you want to stay away from those because that just is going to require a lot of gem investment, and it's not worth it if you're free to play. So stick with the 60 gems per anvil. In League, there's some opportunity in here in your League store to purchase some anvils as well. There's a couple different flavors in here as well. I have only ever seen single anvil packs in here, not like 2 or 3 or 5 or anything like we've seen in the mystery store. So they come in a couple different costs. You use contribution points up here. I've seen them at around 1,000. There's one at like 2,400, one around 3,000 as well. The only thing that I caution in the League store is make sure you always have enough contribution points to purchase your quantum components from the League store. That's the most important thing here. That's what's going to allow you to upgrade your jets. If you've got extra contribution points to spend, then go ahead and get some anvils out of here as well. But always make sure you have contribution point resources here available to purchase the quantum components. All right, so there's a couple there. The other thing to also remind you is the Interstellar Visitor on the weekends. Always save 3,000 gems. Make sure you have a cushion there. 3,000 gems for the weekend because you're going to buy 10 anvils for 500 gems, and then you're going to buy 30 anvils for 2,500 gems. So for 3,000 gems between two packs, you're getting 40 summons. That averages around 75 gems per summon, a little bit higher than what I suggest, but you get a couple extra resources in there that make it worth it. So you definitely want to make sure to get those from the Interstellar Visitor event. So there we go. The differences between the two types of mythics, where you can go to get the anvils that you need for the bleed. We'll go in here and talk about the bleed now. So the bleed, there is a schedule. I'll share that with you here in just a little bit. And every server follows the exact same schedule. So those of you on the new server, you're going to get a head start knowing who's going to be up for rotation for the next several weeks. You're always going to know ahead of time because all of us on the earlier servers, we're already in that rotation right now. So we don't know who's coming up next, but you will going forward. So let's talk about the bleed. Now, let's go into the details here. Let's talk about the percent chance, right? So when we take a look at the details, 26.9% of base odds for Mythic Champion is going to be Zatanna or whoever the banner character is. That's 26.9% of base odds. Base odds is right here, 3.84%. If you hit the 3.84% chance to pull a Mythic, you have a slight increased chance to get Zatanna. That's 26.9% of the 3.84%. If I do my math right, that's around 4% total. So you're going to go from a 3.84 up to around a 4% chance that it's going to be Zatanna, right? So just also as a point of clarification and maybe to level set the field here, I have played a ton of games over the years. I've made YouTube content on a ton of different mobile games. All of them gotcha. 99% of them gotcha. And all of the odds, the way that they calculate this stuff, this is all very standard. When we take a look at Mythic chances right here, 3.84%. In various games, I have seen this percent chance for summoning their highest rarity or banner character. I've seen it anywhere from a 1% chance up to a 5% chance. So this coming up to around 4%, I think is pretty good. Actually, that's on the upper end of that scale. So this is very common among gacha games. And then we have a 17.79% chance that it's going to be a legendary, 78.4% chance that it's going to be a goon. And then we get into the details here. Now, you've probably gone through this a number of times. If you haven't, just hit the details, read through it. There's one bullet point that I want to key in on, and that's number 3 right here. Upon obtaining a Mythic Champion or Legacy piece, there is a 26.9% combined chance, we just talked about that it's going to be the limited Mythic Champion or Legacy piece. So in this case, Zatanna, of the current event session. If you fail 3 times, the next Mythic Champion or Legacy piece you obtain is going to be the guaranteed one. So, throughout all of your summons, remember the pity is 50. Once you pull 50 times, if you don't get a Mythic, you're going to get a Mythic, and you're going to follow these same chances. All right? If you go through that 3 times and you don't get this banner character, that 4th Mythic will be your banner character. Now, I'm going to try and explain this so it's not so complicated, because I swear, every time I explain it, I feel like I'm confusing myself. But worst case scenario is if you have to hit pity every single time in order to get your Mythic, you're going to do 200 pulls, and then you'll have your Mythic character, guaranteed. Okay? There's going to be instances you're not going to hit pity every single time. I'm going to go through a quick example here that I have taken a look at my history. But that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario is you can do it in less than 100 pulls. I've never done it in less than 50 pulls. But that's one thing I want to call out too. The pity being 50 pulls, that is actually fairly low. Typically, I see anywhere between 60 and 80 to hit a pity. So 50 is actually pretty good. All right, so let's take a look at the history here. Let's see. I pulled Zatanna. Okay, so banner character here. I pulled her on the 17th. And then I pulled my next Mythic after her, 5, 10, less than 20 pulls, and I got a Mythic here. Granted, it's not the banner character, but now, after 2 more fails, I'm going to be guaranteed Zatanna. Here's where some of the strategy comes into play, and knowing what's coming up next in the rotation is your pity does follow over to the next banner. So in this case, it's Constantine. So here's my way of thinking. This is what I have going on. Now, I've already pulled a Mythic, a non-banner Mythic on Zatanna's banner. If I wait now, and that's what I'm doing, I'm waiting now until Constantine comes out. Now all I have to do is fail twice for the Constantine banner, and then I'll get him on my 3rd Mythic pull, not my 4th. I have also lined this up where, hey, I'm trying to go for additional stars for the banner character, so let's just say Sinestro. I'm trying to get him to 5 blues, but I have now pulled 3 Mythics on his banner and have not pulled him to get that 5 blue star copy that I need. I stopped there so that the next banner, the first Mythic I pull, is going to be that guaranteed Mythic, because I already had 3 failed attempts on the previous banner. So think of that as you take a look at the schedule. We're going to show that here in just a minute. And as you think about what's coming up, who you really want to pull for, and keep in mind how far into your pulls you are. Let me just go back here. I'm going to go to the previous pull here when I pulled Zatanna. So I pulled her, let's see, right here. So this was, I believe, my 2nd copy of her. So I got her up to 5 white stars. I did pull a 3rd copy, so I was able to get her to 3 blue. But between this, so we're going to do some quick counting, right? So here's Zatanna, then we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Less than 50 pulls, I pulled another Mythic, Black Canary. Now for Black Canary, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Less, again, less than 30 pulls there. I got my second mythic. Every time you get the mythic, you're going to reset at the full 50 pity, right? All right, so there's 2. Then 5, 10, look at that. Less than 20 pulls. Well, that was about probably 15 pulls, close to 20. I got my third mythic. And then 5, boom, there's my next Zatanna. So that was less than 100 pulls, and I got my second banner hero. So you got worst case scenario where you're going to pull 200 times in order to get your banner hero. But then also less than 100 pulls, you can get 2 right there as well. So, I mean, you can get a second copy after you hit that that specific banner character. So I've never hit it less than 50, but I have been able to get a second copy within 100 pulls. So it's very RNG dependent, right? All right, so that is everything to do with summoning. There's a little bit of strategy there. There's where you get all of your anvils and everything like that. Let's take a look really quick at the rotation so you know who's coming up next on your server based on whoever's on your server right now. So let's go take a look at it. All right, so here we are. This is the bleed calendar. This is going to tell you the rotation. No matter where you are on the server, you can start this, taking a look at this calendar and take a look at what's coming up next. I am on the main Dark Legion Discord server, and I'm in right here, the bleed calendar. One thing I want to call out before we get into this, as a free-to-play player, before I started spending money on my account, I was able to summon every single banner hero and get all of them up to 5 white stars without having to spend money. That's about the max you're going to be able to do and be a free-to-play player, because what's going to happen, so let's talk about Superman. 100% summon for him. He's definitely worth it. He's a great hero. You want to get him to that 5 white stars. Once you get him up to the 5 white stars, so that's only 2 copies, right? The first copy is going to get you at 0 stars. That second copy is going to get you from 0 to 5 white stars. Once you get him to 5 white stars, then you're going to hold all of your anvils until the next summoning banner, or whichever hero you want, right? So 100% summon for Superman, summon for Joker. They're great. Scarecrow, hit or miss. I like him, but if you want to skip him, you can also skip Deathstroke, in my opinion. I know some people really like these characters, but if you're really trying to be very specific and calculated on who you want to summon and put some strategy behind it, you need to determine or look at, is there anybody that you want to skip? Or do you just want to get everybody to 5 white stars? Because what you can do, if you're going to skip a hero, you can save up more anvils for the banner where you really want to go hard on one of the heroes, right? So you got Scarecrow, then you got Deathstroke next. Sinestro, I tried to get him up to 5 white stars. I couldn't. I mean, blue stars, I couldn't. I got him up to 3 blue stars. Love this guy. He's definitely worth it. So summon him when you get him. After him is Zatanna. That's who I currently have. I was able to get her to 3 blue stars as well. But now I'm holding on to everything. I've got like almost 200 anvils. And as you saw, I've already got a non-banner mythic summon. So I just need to hit that 3 more times. And I'll get Constantine, or maybe I'll pull him before I hit that pity, right? So after Zatanna is going to be Constantine, and then next, we don't know exactly who, but we got a little bit of a teaser, says right here, but after that, be ready to soar. So look at it, 200 and 201, they've got another special repeat that's coming up because the hero is not ready for them just yet, but what we're going to see after Constantine there is going to be probably Hawk Girl. That's who we're thinking. We don't know 100% sure, but definitely keep an eye on this bleed so you know who's coming up. All right, that is it. That's everything that has to do with the bleed. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. What do you think? What do you think about the information? What do you think about how the bleed and the summoning works? I'd love to hear from you. All right, everybody. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.